2020, Democrats stole the election from President Trump. The year before, they did it to me. Well, in 2024, President Trump is making a comeback, and so am I.
That was Mark Harris, Republican from North Carolina, who now has a second crack at a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. Harris won his first race for a House seat in 2018, but that victory was overturned when his campaign was accused of election fraud. That did not stop Mr. Harris yesterday from winning the Republican primary for North Carolina's 8th congressional district. North Carolina Republicans also chose this guy to be their nominee for governor, Mark Robinson, the state's lieutenant governor. He is known for denying the Holocaust and calling gay and transgender Americans filth. These are some of the down-ballot Republican nominees this year, not just bad candidates, not just fringe candidates. They are now accurate representations of what the party has become under Donald Trump. Back with me is Sherrilyn Ifill. Sherrilyn, thanks for sticking around. And it's so prescient of you to talk about the sort of fear that should be struck in all of our hearts that the liberal justices, the normies on the Supreme Court, are saying, we've just made it easier for insurrectionists to run for and hold federal office. I mean, when you look at these, how do you look at this crop of candidates who are likely to win House seats, maybe even governorships, in light of that decision that they've effectively made it easier for people who campaign violently against the United States to hold office?
Well, let's go back to the insurrection of 2020. You'll remember there were 10 members of Congress, actually 9 and 1 representative-elect. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene, who had not yet taken her oath, who met with the president and others at the White House on December 21st, 2020, to talk about how they would try to overturn the election and to pressure Mike Pence. So I'm talking about Andy Biggs from Arizona. I'm talking about Andy Harris from Maryland. I'm talking about Matt Gaetz. I'm talking about Jim Jordan. All of those individuals took a deep sigh of relief after the Supreme Court's decision as well. These are people who had prior taken an oath and perhaps engaged or alleged to have engaged in the plans for that insurrection. So first of all, let's talk about those folks who essentially get a pass unless Congress passes some legislation through these very folks who are in Congress. Right? Exactly. And then you have a new crop of folks, right, who will be sworn in. The Congress will be sworn in before the president, before the electors all meet. So we will have a new Congress at that point, and so we will have people who have taken an oath. And what they decide to do should matter as well. So just think about the effect of this decision, which essentially says, unless Congress passes a statute that does all the things we say it has to do, and that statute holds up, that these kinds of folks are not barred by Section 3. This is so contrary to what the framers wanted, who were so concerned about the spirit of insurrection that they believed still existed in this country. They were not only concerned about the period after the Civil War, they wanted to protect this country forevermore. And this decision has essentially unraveled that and set us up for danger. I mean, if you're a democracy and you cannot protect yourself, and you can't protect yourself from those who would undermine you and from those who would unravel you, you're not worthy of the name. And we are seeing the tools taken out of our hands. You know, people say, well, just vote. Well, we're seeing, voting rights on the chopping block. So all the tools are being taken out of our hand that we need to protect our country. And that's what I find most alarming about this moment.
The other piece of it, independent of the insurrectionists sort of getting run of the inmates running the asylum, if you will, is the surge of Christian nationalism. And I focus here on Mark Robinson, the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, who very well may run the state. He, today, a video has resurfaced of Mark Robinson saying he wants to go back to when women couldn't vote. This is someone who's called homosexual, trans people filth. This is someone who believes that feminism was created by Satan. I mean, the injection of a theocracy, or the overlay of a theocracy onto a democracy, seems deeply problematic on a number of levels.
Well, and it's a perverted theocracy, of course, because I don't know who Mark Robinson thinks he would have been in 1919 before women could vote, but maybe he should ask those who were, in the East St. Louis race riots and race massacre. Maybe he should ask those who were in Tulsa. Maybe he should ask folks who were in Alabama and Mississippi during that period. The part that bothers me, Alex, is that we have a very rich tradition in this country of those who were associated with Christianity who fought for social justice and change. These are the same people who will quote, albeit just one line from a speech, Dr. Martin Luther King. We think about the people, the civil rights movement was deeply and powerfully affected by people of faith, by, Reverend Shuttlesworth and C.T. Vivian, and all of these were people who deeply studied the Christian faith and who believed in the Christian faith and who were moved by it. And that tradition is part of our country as well. And so to see these people pervert a theology, it's not just that they're using theology, they're using their own theology and they are perverting it to their aims in order to receive power. So I'm waiting for other Christian leaders to speak up in that other tradition that we have in this country and stand pat as well.
Preach is all I say. Sherrilyn Ifill, the great Sherrilyn Ifill, thank you for your time tonight. Really appreciate it.